I mean, I don't think about newspapers very much. I'm not sure I have really good answers for you. I don't read physical newspapers. I read, but I mean, when you say newspaper, you're talking about, paper, right? Newspapers are more than the delivery mechanism. Newspapers are the journalism, they're the editorial function, they're the sort of, they're the filter, they're the community organization function, they're an advertising vehicle. I mean, newspapers as a kind of a, the idea of journalists, reporting on the news is great. That'll be with us forever. The question of what form it comes out in and what the business model, that's obviously in flux. I think that, I think some people love the printed form and always will. Some people, like my children, will never subscribe to a newspaper. My children will never subscribe to a newspaper. I think my children will read newspapers, but not in the physical form. That's okay. We are experimenting with all the different business models. We have, traditional subscription, then we have free newspapers, then we have, free giveaways. I think I mentioned the Portuguese newspapers doing such creative stuff with free giveaways of newspapers. We have online models where they charge, online models where they don't charge, online models that are all professionally edited, online models that are often sort of peer or community generated. We have local news sites which aren't newspapers. We don't have a word for them right now, but this are a hyper-local phenomenon. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the fundamental idea of reporting the news. I think the idea of what form it takes and what the business model is completely up in the air. And, check back in 20 years, I'll tell you what the answer is. There's no one answer. I mean, I'm not sure what you want. Do you want the answer? Because there's no one answer. We're going to try.
I would love it.
Yeah, we're going to try. We're going to try every possible variation. We're going to try them all.
Different. The future doesn't look very bright
for what?
For print. For the old media houses.
For print newspapers.
Because the advertising revenue online is so much lower than it used to be.
Look, I work in this business. We'll go where the audience goes. If they want print, we'll give them print. If they want online, we'll give them online. If they want video, we'll give them video. I don't see why we should be wedded to one delivery mechanism. Yes, I'll take it.
Since you were talking about economics in the recession, so to speak, and that of course it was much more pressure on everybody. What do you think? How do you think that will affect the media concentration?
Yeah, media concentration. Every time I hear that, I was like, what media concentration? I mean, it was a couple of years ago. It was very, I think the political left in particular was complaining about media concentration. And I'm in the biggest media company, biggest magazine company. I mean, we are exactly what they're talking about, and it's like I wish we had media concentration. Instead, we have total media explosion. We used to have real power. We owned the distribution channel, and now anybody. We're competing with like 9 million blogs who are all focused on narrow things. So, when you say media concentration, what do you mean?
No, but what I just wonder is if will that continue in a much more sort of scarce market?
What scarce market?
If the economy is going down and it's harder to sort of survive, and it's harder to make money on what you do.
So will there be fewer print newspapers in the world? Yes. Does that count as media concentration?
Will there be fewer?
Because that's not what people used to mean.
Delivering, or fewer companies delivering.
So are companies the same as media? I mean, because I don't understand what any of this means anymore. I mean, the old model of this was that it was called the fourth estate, right? The media had a unique ability to propagate information. They had this responsibility to be accurate and balanced and all this kind of stuff. And it's like the only way you can get information is via the media. I don't think that's been true for about 20 years. The equivalence of media with, physical media or corporate media, that's not the world we live in anymore. There's no shortage of information. it's not like if all the newspapers went bust, we would no longer find out what was going on around us. We wouldn't find out. We all publish. Yeah,
I'm not a journalist, so I'll have my question before you kick me out here. But I was curious because I find that the crowd here today is very much just around media, or communications industry.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the same way when you tour in the United States. But what's your reflection on that? Because to me at least, it sort of gathers all around like this is a phenomenon or a problem for the media industry.
Yeah.
Rather, the free economy or the whole long tail theory is. Do you find the interest at least, or why don't we see participation here from regular companies, or
I can't answer that question, but I mean,
is it the same way in the
Yeah, I mean, I live in, I by day I work in the media
Yeah.
business. By night I try to destroy it. It's,
but is that because the media industry is very focused on this problem now? Because it's
the media,
urgent
all
problem?
industries are focused on preserving what they have. And traditional media is now challenged by an explosion of alternative forms. And media is not the right word, and news is not the right word, and journalism is not the right word. And we don't have words for these things anymore. But I think that it's very natural for industries to feel threatened by loss of control. And my industry, my own company's doing very well, but my industry feels very threatened by this, and I think that's unfortunate. Boy, we have lots of heads up.
I represent SVT, the public service broadcaster here in Sweden. Do you think people will be, in the future, do you think they will pay for public service? By the fees?
What is public service?
PBS.
Well, I want to understand what you mean. So when I blog, is that a public service?
No.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, it could be a public service, but I mean the public service as financed by the viewers.
So you mean broadcast? You mean broadcast? Will people pay for? Well, my country they do. Your country they have a fee. In my country they don't have a fee. My country we have pledge drives, and twice a year, 3 times a year we give them money. So I'm not sure what your question is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not sure what your answer is.
My answer is yes.
Next question.
Okay, up there.
Yeah, I was wondering because during the panel. Sorry, my name is Johan. I'm from Rogan magazine, which is not a magazine about horses or riding or whatever. Yeah, but during the panel discussions, when the word quality was brought up, you were kind of backing away from it. You didn't like that word.
Not kind of.
I guess what, in terms of journalism, is probably kind of what people were referring to. I guess is kind of this old school, the kind of investigate thing with Seymour Hersh and people like that, digging up stories, working long lead from digging up sources and stuff. But so how do you? I guess you still think that it is important for those kind of stories to pop up. So how do you think they will come up in the future? Will it be whistleblowers kind of publishing it on their own blogs, or what do you think the future is for that?
I believe in the marketplace. Seymour Hersh works for my company. He works for the New Yorker. New Yorker is my sister publication. I don't think Seymour Hersh has anything to worry about. I think people will pay for what he does, and the New Yorker will pay for what he does, and people will pay for the New Yorker, forevermore.
Maybe on not on the top kind of top scale, but obviously there are like